Awesome. So I'm gonna share my screen with you for this special master class as well. Let me just pull up my slides. I forgot to do that. How is everyone doing today? Where are you calling in from? I'm curious. I have some international people from the UK, Australia. Where are you tuning in from? I am recording this. Replays will be going out for those. I did have some questions about that as well. Yes, replays will be going out. South Carolina, South Carolina. I went to school in South Carolina. Love South Carolina. I'm a transplant to Florida. Let me get these pop-ups out of the way. Sorry. Drive me crazy. All right.
This is the last one that you do, Lisa.
Let me. So. Love Florida too. Yeah. We actually had a little bit of a break in the weather. It got into like 50 degrees this morning. I'm loving it. Some people put their sweaters on. So they call it sweater wear, not me. And my cat, of course, notices I'm in here doing a training, so he wants to join. Say hi. All right, come on.
I haven't
My
gone.
20-year-old. All right. Let me just mute people here. 1 second.
Right?
All right. So I call this Beyond Food the Whole Woman Weight Release Framework. So this training, the workshop this week was how to eat. Well, I didn't mention a whole lot about what to eat, did I? No, because you can really enjoy the season without completely changing what you're eating, without depriving yourself, by simply focusing on how to eat, managing your stress, slowing down, chewing your food, being mindful in your eating, enjoying the conversation. They gave you some really practical tips, smaller plates, the psychology of color, right? It all comes into play. So this one, we're going to go beyond how to eat and even beyond food and knowing what is the complete framework. What is the complete framework on how to lose weight? So I'm going to share with you how women and men can release weight without dieting or depriving yourself, even if you work 12-hour shifts, even if you've tried everything, even if you feel like giving up. I work with a lot of women who are in healthcare, and probably because I was in healthcare myself, I spent 8 years in the very busy pediatric emergency room and switched to ambulatory surgery, and then worked in functional medicine clinics. So I get it. So this is not your typical master class. It'll be about an hour and 15 minutes of practical content. Practical content. Might be longer depending on how many questions at the end. So I'm going to share with you top 3 mistakes likely holding you back. I did every single one. I did every single one of those mistakes. And I'm going to reveal to you the 4 key pieces to help you to get to your optimal healthy weight and stop the weight regain, how to end emotional eating, balance blood sugar, decrease inflammation, and improve your health so you can be fit and healthy. You have been lied to. Weight is a symptom that there's something that is out of alignment. And unfortunately, a lot of diets focus on what you eat and how you move. And it's so much more than that, which we're going to share in a moment. So I'm going to tell you, it is so possible. It is so possible to release weight and no longer regain it, to get fit and healthy. And it's not a number on a scale or a size of clothing. By the way, I'm at a higher weight per the scale, but I'm healthier than when I was at a lower weight. Muscle is lean, fat is fluffy. So here's some of my past clients. You can see what they've had to say. And I'm going to go share a little bit of their stories as well. It looks like my cat wants to leave. It's here to share with you that it is so possible. I know, my goodness, life, and right? Let's go. He'll be back in about 30 seconds. He's my 20-year-old rescue that I rescued at 8 weeks. Literally off the streets. That's my Judah. So I'm here to share with you that it is possible. Nancy lost 15 pounds in 2 weeks. Dawn lost 14 pounds in 10 days. Michelle lost 12 pounds in 14 days. Kathy lost 9 pounds, 5 of which was during one of my previous workshops. Danielle lost 25 pounds. Brandy lost 7 pounds. April was able to conceive and have a baby, and Gina's autoimmune symptoms significantly improved. I'm going to share a little bit more about some of these women further on because maybe you can relate to them. Life just life don't make, because I just spilled my tea, but that's okay. I'm going to share a little bit more about them because maybe you can relate to them as well. Yes, yes, Angelina. She said a cat noted. I heard yesterday the cat's purr has sound healing properties. Absolutely, because they purr at different frequencies. And I had a cat who has since passed, probably about 5 years ago. He was really good when I was in my cycle of migraines. He would just lay next to me and purr at a certain frequency and help me with my pain relief. Yes, absolutely. Cats are very intuitive too. Cats are very intuitive as well. The longer I have cats, the more I just know they're just so in tune with different people's energy too. So a little about who I am. I am Pamela Pedrick. I am a registered nurse by trade. I have my master's in counseling, and I have been in healing work for over 20 years. Gosh, we're going on 2025, so it'll be 25 years coming up. And I truly believe that this is healing work because we're healing the body not only physically, but oftentimes emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, all at the same time. And so I gained the freshman 25. I didn't gain 15, I gained 25 pounds. Yes. Ugh. I gained 25 pounds my freshman year in college. Now I was always in the husky kind of sizes back in the day because I was a goalie for my field hockey team. So I'd bulk up during the season and then bulk back down during the off season. But my junior year in college was my first CIET where I was really actively doing the counting calories, eating less, and moving more. I did everything. I counted calories and I ate less fat. I ate the fat-free, low-fat foods. And then I felt bad when I ate the foods that had the fat and the sugar in it. And then I felt deprived during social occasions when I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't eat that. I'm on a diet. Can anyone relate to that? I switched from ice cream to frozen yogurt. I put the artificial sweeteners in my coffee. Back in the day, the pink packet was the only thing that was available. I will be 50 in January. So I'm dating myself there. See, he wants to come back. I switched from ice cream to frozen yogurt. I did all things. Switched from soda to diet soda. Yes, I did release some weight. Yes, I did release some fat. But guess what? I gained it back again. And that started my official second profession as a yo-yo dieter. It took so much of my time that it really was a second job for me. And I went from program to program to program, diet to diet to diet. And of course, now that it's going to be here before you know it, the new year, all the infomercials, right? And I would dial the number. Back in the day, it was dial this number, talk to someone, order your fat burners, order this. And by the way, you can get this right now if you order right in the next 48 hours. I'm like, I tried it all. I even had one where it was like eat grapefruit and tuna fish and then have these fat burners. I'm like, well, no wonder I released weight because I was hardly eating anything to begin with. Use artificial sweeteners in my coffee and tea. I did all the things and I felt like something was missing from every diet that I did. Can anyone relate to that? Like I felt like, okay, that worked, but I gained the weight back. So something must be missing. Let me try this diet over here. Let me try this program over here. And of course, friends and family are always telling you what they're doing. And so I was like, okay, well, let me try this over here. And I was working out and I did the Firm. Gosh, was it the Firm back in the day? The infomercials. And then you get the Chalene Johnson videos. And I did all of that. But I came to a point in my life where I just questioned, why am I always regaining the weight that I lose? What is going on? And so I felt like, well, if all these programs and everyone's seeing results, right? Because you see it during the infomercials. I had friends and family who were doing similar programs and they were releasing the weight. I'm like, well, maybe something is wrong with me. Maybe I'm the outlier. Maybe I'm the failure. And so I felt like crap in my body. I felt like crap emotionally. My self-esteem was in the toilet. Fast forward years later, I'm now a binge eater. But I never acknowledged that I was a binge eater because I just did it during the weekend. Just during the weekend. And so I remember vividly, we talked about holidays the past 3 days. Holidays were such a huge binge fest for me. Why? It's because you have all these goodies, all the sugary delights that you typically don't have during the rest of the year. And so there's that FOMO, fear of missing out. You can see me with my Christmas brownies one year. It's like, oh, that my trainer actually gave me that got here. It's like, ooh, how long did they last, right? And so I always overindulged. Huge binge fest. And so my birthday's in January, so I continued the binging all the way through the first week in January. And oftentimes all the way through the end of January, because even though I had every great intention of releasing weight, find the program that's going to work in January, I often didn't start it or didn't do anything about it because, okay, Monday hit again and I don't feel the best. Let me start the following Monday. Can anyone relate? Like you just delay the time you're going to start and you've delayed it so much that you just, all right, maybe I'll start next month. And then February comes and then another month comes and goes. And then, oh my goodness, another year has come and gone. Let me start working on it now. So I had my birthday dinner with family and friends, and I ate really well. I was at one of those hibachi kind of places where they cook the food in front of you and they do the whole show. And I ate all my food, all my dinner, and I had room for dessert. And then I had room for my birthday cake. And by this time, I'm completely stuffed. In fact, my belly's kind of hurting. I come home, I live by myself. I proceeded to grab the rest of the birthday cake, my red velvet cake with the cream cheese icing that I can never say no to, and no one else in my family likes except for my niece. So I end up with almost all the birthday cake left. And I proceed to take that birthday cake, not just one slice, not just two, not just three. I had the whole like 3/4 left of the cake on my lap, fork in hand, sitting on my green couch, watching a romantic comedy that I'd seen multiple times. My black cat Judah, who is now 20, on one side, my gray tabby cat Zacchaeus on the other side, and just binging on my birthday cake, watching this romantic comedy. But for some reason, this movie hit me in a way that it hadn't had before. And I call it my come to Jesus moment, where I literally was watching her decide that she's going to release weight because she was overweight and she smoked and she drank a lot and she didn't eat the best food. And you see her filling her fridge with nice, healthy food. And you see her working out. My cat Judah's agreeing with me here. And you see her working out behind the scenes. And you see the whole video montage, the music playing in the background. I'm literally going fist in hand with my fork, raised in the air. I went, yeah, you go, girl. So excited. And I literally paused and I go, daggone it, where is my you go, girl moment? Come here. He wants to join. This is my 20-year-old, Gio. And I thought, well, where is my you go girl moment? What about me? I'm in my early 30s. Is this how it's going to be the rest of my 30s, into my 40s, 50s, and beyond? Just binging out on birthday cake every birthday. And by this time, I'd slowly isolated myself to such an extent that family and friends stopped asking me to go out unless it was a really big special event, because I would either say no or decline because I couldn't find anything that fit and I felt disgusting in my body. Can anyone relate to that one? So they slowly stopped asking me. And that in turn would induce more binging because I felt all alone. My self-esteem was in the toilet. I was overweight. I was exhausted. I was burned out. I was stressed out. I had huge bouts of insomnia. My body was heading towards a really big breakdown if I didn't make any changes. But I was just so ready for some reason at this time. So I did what I love to do and I researched. I didn't want to do another DIET. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and instead got poor health. Poor health because my migraines were out of control and I was losing TIME with recovering from them, more weight and more fat on my body and poor health. So I decided to really research and find my own you go girl moments. So what I did is I found that there was a lot missing from traditional diets. And I'm here to tell you that we have been lied to. We have been lied to because you hear that the only way to lose weight is to eat less and to move more. But there's so much more beyond food that we really do need to address, which is why as high as 95 to 98%, depending on which research study you look at, of women who release weight gain it back within 6 months or less. Why is that? It's because we need to focus, yes, on what we eat and how we move, but it's also other things that come into play that I had found. There was a lot missing, even really popular ones, and even some really good holistic ones too that I found along the way. So when traditional diets focus on what you eat and how you move, I liken it to an iceberg. iceberg is so much bigger underneath the water than on top. I found there was a whole lot missing. We need to address our hormones, and it's not just hormones that hit us women during the perimenopausal, menopausal years. There's hormones that come to play way sooner than those ones, and they are out of alignment, and it's causing you to gain weight and making it difficult to lose weight. Then there's weight regain. Why is it that anytime we get off of a program, because I did it multiple times, or off of that shot, or off of those supplements, that we're regaining the weight back? What's going on with that? Why is it 95 to 90% of people who lose weight gain it back again? And then they're going from program to program to program. Then there's our body legacy. This was huge when I discovered this. I'm like, body legacy, what's this all about? It's what did your primary female caregivers, because I'm speaking to women right now, primary female caregivers, how they view weights, weight release, dieting, like how they view that everything when it comes to weight and health. Did they fear gaining a pound? Were they constantly on the scale? No shame or blame on them. They were doing the best that they knew how to, especially back in the day when it was all dieting focused. Were they constantly critical about themselves? Oh, I gained 5 pounds. I look fat. Are they, trying all different ways to release weight? Because we bring those into our adulthood. Our identity is shaped before the age of 7. So if we're seeing mom, auntie, grandma, and how they navigate things when it comes to health and weight in a way that probably isn't the best, we're going to bring those behaviors into adulthood as well. Body and protector mode. Weight can definitely be a protective mechanism. It can be, for me, it was a physical barrier because I had trauma in my past, and I had trauma in my early years when I was at the age of 3. So weight for me was actually a physical barrier. Do not come close to me. Do not touch me. It can also be a body and protector mode, meaning you're in jeopardy of a really big hormonal crisis. So now we're going to make more fat. Because fat cells will produce a low level of hormones. It could be body protector mode because you're very, very toxic, and the fat cells are actually protecting you, those toxins from being released into your bloodstream. Various different ways. It's your stress. Stress impacts certain hormones. It's also your sleep. How are you sleeping? How long are you sleeping? Are you getting into deep sleep? It's also, are you self-sabotaging? That was me, and it's very, very subtle, and oftentimes we don't recognize it as self-sabotage. We just think we've had a very busy, stressful day. So we're going to celebrate that we made it through the day, worked in the ER, we did this all the time, and go out to eat and get some dessert and get some ice cream. For me, it was Papa John's Ben & Jerry's ice cream during the weekend. And then it's also our mindset, and it's so much more than just mindset. It's our unconscious, subconscious, superconscious. It's all the same thing, our unconscious mind, because it drives 90% of our behaviors. Which is why if you've ever done a program and you've released the weight, you felt great, your energy is there, you've released the fat, and then you're off the program, and then a couple months later, you're back to your old patterns of behavior. Your unconscious mind was not in alignment. It's still driving those old patterns of behavior for you. It's huge. Toxicity, I'd mentioned this with body and protector mode. Your toxic burden, how toxic are you in your body? Because fat is definitely going to protect you. Your body's going to create more fat cells to protect you from that. It's going to cause inflammation as well, your toxic burden. Your identity. I had the identity of a binge eater. In fact, I would say I am a recovered binge eater, but I still had that binge eating identity. So I would frequently go back into binge eating mode. Why? It's because I still had that identity. So when I researched everything, I found that, holy crap, there was a whole lot missing from every single diet I've ever done, from every even really good weight release program I've ever done. And what's really the missing component is body and protector mode, mindset, identity, dealing with self-sabotage, body legacy, and weight regain are hugely missing, even from really good holistic functional weight release and health programs. So I'm like, oh my gosh, now that I'm aware of this, what do I do? What do I do? Well, I paired up with a health coach who was in alignment with everything, except she was missing the mindset component, which I learned years later. But I did release the weight. I felt so much better in my body. But for me, I got my TIME back because I wasn't having the migraines and the headaches that I was with the intensity and the frequency I was having them. In fact, one of my friends who worked in the ER with me, she mentioned, you haven't had a migraine in quite some time. And I'm like, because people are commenting, oh, you're losing the weight. How you feel? I'm like, I'm feeling great. And she's like, you haven't had a migraine in a while. I'm like, I haven't. She goes, you know how I can tell? Because anytime I came on shift, I could see it in your eyes if you had a migraine. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're right. I haven't had a migraine in quite some time, which was completely new for me. So I'm here to tell you that you have been lied to. You've been told that the only way to release weight is what you eat and how you move, to count your calories, to count your fat grams. But they discount everything that's below the iceberg. They discount the rest of you as a whole person. They might see you as what you eat and how you move. And even in the medical community, because we've got specialists now, they see you as pieces of a whole. You got something going on with your brain, go see a neurologist. You got something going on with your heart, go see a cardiologist. So we do need to take into account the complete person that you are. So when I paired up with my health coach, yes, I released weight. Yes, I felt better. My health significantly improved. But then I found out, I was starting to go back to those old patterns of behavior, to eating more sugar, to eating not the best food. Granted, it wasn't nearly to extent as previously, but what I found that was really missing from every single program was this mind component, the unconscious mind. And when I learned about that and got certified in teaching on it and kind of restructuring and reconsolidating the neuronal pathways in the brain, oh my gosh, what freedom I found and what freedom my clients find as well. The unconscious subconscious mind is a huge missing component from almost every single program out there when it comes to releasing weight. So once again, I paired up with a health coach. I learned what to eat for my body because what I eat is not going to be the same for you. I enrolled in a program to learn how to reconsolidate the neuronal patterns in the brain. Let's relearn so that we can, if we can learn something, can't we unlearn, right? Because we forget things. We learn how to do things. I went to, I studied abroad in France my junior year in college, and I was immersed in the language. So when I came back after that semester, I had forgotten some English words, and people were looking at me like, you got to be joking. I'm like, no, I actually, what is the name of this? It's a serviette. It was a washcloth. I've forgotten. So that proves we can unlearn those past patterns of behavior and programming, which is what when we consolidate the neuronal patterns in the brain, that's what we're actually doing. So that I no longer was going back to those old patterns of programming. I was successful in not only releasing weight, but maintaining that. I had my own you go girl moments. Yes. So now I am a best-selling author. I co-authored a book with best-selling author Madeline Davis called The One Thing Every Mom Needs to Know. I wrote the chapter on Lose Weight Now, also called Dietless Dieting as well. So I also was featured in Natural Awakenings. It's a holistic magazine. I was voted top 3 best of the best health coaches for my local area. I won the Dynamic Speaker Award from Women Rocking Business, and I found freedom, and I have freedom in my life that I hadn't had prior because I felt like I was in such bondage to the food. I felt like I was in bondage to the programs too. I've been in some really robust programs where I felt like I had to fit my life into it, and that was not fun, nor was it sustainable. And I'm here to tell you, you can have freedom as well. You can have your own you go girl moment. So you and your body are unique. Diets can work for a quick fix, but they don't work long term, which is why you potentially have done multiple programs, multiple diets, whether you invested money into that or you did it on your own. They don't work long term. And you are not a one-dimensional person, so why choose a program that only deals with one aspect of you in your life? What you're eating, how you're moving, counting calories, eating diet type foods. Are you exercising? But there is a cost, and there was a cost to me when it came to the way I was retaining, and it impacted my health. So you have been lied to that you need to manage how you eat, what you eat, and how you move, but there's so much more to that. Plus, weight and poor health is a symptom. It is a symptom that something is out of alignment in your body. And it could be various things, which I'm going to talk about, or it could be all of the above that I'm going to be talking about today. But let's be honest, there's a huge cost. For me, I spent boku bucks on all the programs that I did. I think I spent well over $10,000, to be honest. I spent boku bucks on over-the-counter medications because my headaches and migraines were out of control. I wasn't sleeping right, so I was buying all this over-the-counter stuff to kind of counteract that. It can lead to cardiovascular disease. By the way, heart disease is the #1 killer among women. And did you know that blood sugar instability is the main driver for inflammation, which is the main driver for all types of disease in the body? High cholesterol, high blood pressure, abnormal glucose intolerance, insulin resistance is huge right now. Type 2 diabetes, psychological. For me, I was depressed. I had low self-esteem. You could be having some pain. Pain's usually the third thing. For women who come to me, that is they want to release weight, they want their energy back, and they've got pain that they're dealing with. Raises your risk of heart attack, stroke, kidney disease, and death. Fatigue, no energy, headaches, joint aches, cost of prescription over-the-counter medications, cost of healthcare. No matter, even if you have insurance, sometimes it can be pricey depending on what your deductible is and what prescription and what insurance plan you have. So what is the price that you have been paying? I was tired, sick and tired of paying the price I had been paying. When I had my come to Jesus moment, which might sound a little trite just watching a movie, but for some reason I was just ready. I was ready to really get my life back on track, to release the weight, and to find freedom. I was looking for freedom, and I was looking to get my time back. So what is the price that you have been paying? But no matter how much weight you want to lose or how energetic and healthy you want to be, you really do need personalized strategies and systems to do so. Diets are very cookie cutter. They look at you as the same as everyone else. They look at you as the same as everyone else. And let's be honest, men are different than women. They've got more muscle mass, right? Women are different. Women can multitask with the best of them, men not so much. So we're different in our brain, we're different in our chemistry, we're different in our bodies. And even woman to woman, you're different than your best friend, than your mom. You're different from anyone else. So you do need personalized strategies and systems to do so. So which is why if you've ever done keto, because keto came back about 4 or 5 years ago, was all the rage again. If you've done keto with your best friend and she's released weight and you're barely releasing anything, probably keto is not the best plan for you. It's not personalized to you. So I'm going to go each of these. These are mistakes you're making. I'm going to go through each of these in depth. Dieting and depriving yourself. Let me go back here. Not eating for your body, and dismissing the whole you. Seeing yourself as pieces of the whole and dismissing the whole you. So mistake number 1, dieting and depriving yourself. You've been programmed to believe it. I believed it back in the day. Eat less, move more, right? Count my calories, count my fat grams, eat the diet type foods. Been programmed to believe it. And then food is labeled as good or bad. Did you ever feel bad after eating the bad food? It's not fun, is it? You start to feel bad. I start to feel like I was the failure instead of the diet's failing me. I felt like I was the failure. I felt bad. My self-esteem was an all-time low. Your body might not work best on that eating plan with that specific diet. You know, diet by definition simply means what you eat. But we've bastardized the term to mean diet is you're looking to release weight. So also counting calories, your body may need more calories. I have a previous client who's in her 60s, and she said, I'm in the best shape of my life and I'm eating like a 21-year-old boy. I was like, well, what do you mean by that? Because, college kids don't tend to eat the best. She goes, no, I'm not talking about the type of food. She goes, I'm talking about volume of food. She goes, I'm eating way over 2,000 calories a day, but I'm in the best shape of my life. Why? It's because a calorie is not just a calorie. It's the type of food you're eating and then eating for your body as well. And you might be eating food that's not food. There's a lot of food ingredients and diet type foods out in the supermarket. which I'm really excited about, something that happened recently, hoping this will turn the tide and help make food more healthy. Um, because food by definition has actually two parts, a part A and a part B. Okay. Food is nutritious. That's part A. Food is nutritious. That means food's got carbohydrates, it's got fats, it's got protein. Food is nutritious. Part B is food gives and or sustains life. You can't just have part A and be food. You have to have both part A and part B. It's kind of like the color purple. Purple is not a separate color. It's actually two colors in one. It's blue and red. If you take away the color blue, it's no longer purple, it's red. If you take away the color red, it's no longer purple, it's blue. That's the same thing with the definition of food. It has to be nutritious, proteins, carbohydrates, fats, and it has to give or sustain life. We know one food that's not food, that would be the sugar type foods, because it doesn't give or sustain life. In fact, it takes away from life. It causes health issues. So when you look at that definition, there are a lot of diets out there that aren't advocating for true food. Let's be honest. And then eliminating complete food groups causes self-sabotage, and it just is not healthy. These no carbs way of eating, our body does need carbohydrates. Our brain needs it to properly function as well. So, and I mentioned the calorie isn't just the calorie, because sugar calories impact your body differently than protein, fat, and vegetable calories. We're talking about the clean foods, that food that is by definition food. And we can see this by the health crisis in our nation. Obesity is an all-time high. We're seeing in our pediatric population. I worked 8 years in a very busy pediatric emergency room. I saw it. I saw 3-year-olds toddling in because they were obese. I saw them come in and they were overweight. And so, and it hits the family as a whole. Why? It's because we're eating very high sugary type foods or food ingredients based on our, if you go grocery store next time, I'm going to challenge you, read your ingredient labels on every single food that you pick up in your hand before placing your basket. It's a lot of sugar and a lot of foods nowadays. So dieting, you've been programmed to believe it. That's mistake number one. Mistake number two, not eating for your body. Not eating for your body. Not every diet meaning what you're eating, is right for your body. My body does not work well with a straight up carnivore way of eating. My body loves plant-based food, but certain plant-based food. My body loves wild caught fish. My body does not like gluten and dairy. That's my diet. There's no one eating plan that works for every woman, no matter what the gurus say, because within that eating plan, we are in a day and age where food intolerances are at an all-time high. We're going to go into that a little bit more. And so there's no one eating plan that works best for every single woman. You're potentially not fueling your body properly. You're not fueling your body properly. Remember, my client in her 60s eating well over 2,000 calories a day, but it's the type of calorie that she's eating. She is now fueling her body properly, and she's in the best health she's ever been. You may have some food intolerances. Food intolerances are different than allergies. When we think of allergies, we think mostly like a peanut allergy, where we get short of breath, you can get anaphylactic and you can die because your airway just completely closes off from the swelling. It's not like an allergy. Food intolerances are a little bit more subtle, but they cause weight gain and also make it difficult to release weight. They cause blood sugar instability in the body as well. So even healthy food can be a food intolerance. We're going to go into that in a little bit. Dismissing, so we have dieting and not eating for your body, now dismissing the whole you. This is everything that was under the iceberg picture that I showed earlier, which is hormones, not just perimenopause and menopausal. There's hormones that impact us. Way before that, you might already know thyroid hormone is a big one, right? But we got more than that. It's your stress. Are you properly managing your stress? I work with high performing women, and they often do not feel the stress, but they are in a constant state of stress by virtue of their life and their lifestyle. And they don't want to quit their job because they love it, but we need to properly manage that stress. You're asleep. Are you getting into deep sleep? They impact your hormones as well. Your relationships, is there any tension? We're coming into the holidays where we kind of see some familiar tension sometimes. How's your relationship with your significant other, with your kids, your thoughts and emotions? That goes back to the mind component, the unconscious mind. Come into play. You might know you're an emotional eater, that you're a stress eater as well. Your core or root reasons for weight regain. There is usually an initial reason for weight gain, right? Maybe it hit us in puberty, maybe it hit you with, pregnancies, maybe it hit you during menopause. There's usually an initial reason for the weight gain. Me was the freshman 25. But what's the reason for regaining the weight back? Is it because you're dieting? Is it because you're dismissing the whole you? Is it because you're not eating food that's right for your body? Is it the mindset component, your thoughts and your emotions that are bringing you back to those old patterns of behavior? Your unconscious, subconscious mind is a huge driver for your actions. Huge, huge, huge. When was the last time someone ever asked you, so what was your emotional state when you went for the sugar? Or what was your thoughts? Or what was your unconscious mind doing? Like what's going on with that? No one ever asked me those questions. They were just like, oh, you're eating too much sugar, let's cut back on it. And I'm like, and I was frustrated. I'm like, I'm really trying to cut back on the sugar, but I would be binge eating. I'd never admit I was binge eating, by the way, because I just did it on the weekend. And so no one ever asked me these questions. So I didn't know. Yep, talking about what's eating me. Yep, because I didn't know. No one was asking me, which is why I kept going from diet to diet to diet to try to find that. Your identity, who are you? We have a core identity. Yes, I am Pamela, but we also have sub-identities. I'm a daughter, I'm an aunt, I'm a friend, I'm a sister. We have sub-identities. So one of my sub-identities was I was a binge eater. That was driving my actions. So what is your identity that is driving your actions? Do you have an identity that you're not healthy? Do you have an identity that you're broken and you're trying to fix yourself? That will drive your consistency or inconsistency as well. Your body legacy, I'd mentioned that earlier when it came to the iceberg. Who were the primary caregivers in your life, the primary female caregivers in your life? How did they view weight release, dieting, eating diet type foods? Like how did that all come into play? No shame or blame on them, but we do see that and we bring it into adulthood as well. I work with a lot of women who still have dieting mentality, meaning they're like, well, how many calories should I eat? And my clients do not count calories. They don't. We don't count calories. We count other things instead. It's your past programming. You talked about the dieting. You've been programmed to believe it. What else have you been programmed to believe about yourself when it comes to the unconscious mind? Your self-sabotage. It can be so subtle. Are you aware that you're self-sabotaging? Are you aware when it crops up? Are you aware of your patterns of behavior? What is your typical pattern for you? For me, it was a weekend binge eating. Why? It's because that was a way to calm my emotional state and calm my nervous system. That was the only way I knew how to do that because of past programming. Your self-limiting beliefs and your mindset. How do you view yourself? Do you believe that you can do it? Do you believe that you're worth it? Do you believe that you are worthy? Do you believe in yourself? Sometimes it's past people speaking, the disbelief, those negative things into our ears. If you hear a lie often enough, you start to believe it as truth. So maybe you had some people in your life when you were younger telling you some things and you start to believe it. So now it's impacting the action that you take or don't take when it comes to your health and your wellness. How you view your body. I saw my body as the enemy. I was in constant battle with it. But what I learned is my body was actually trying to help me. It was giving me feedback that I didn't like. I didn't like the feedback I was getting because I wasn't understanding what that feedback was all about. So you and your body are unique. Your whole life recipe affects your weight and your health, which can sound kind of scary when you're like, oh my gosh, everything I do impacts my weight and my health. To a certain extent, yes, it does. It does. And so here are some challenges as a result. You might be wanting to quit. Maybe you've spent years of doing this and you feel frustrated and all alone in your journey. You're just ready to give up. That was me at a certain point. I was like, forget it. I'm destined to be at this weight and to feel this way the rest of my life because I'm in my 30s. They always say you feel the aches and pains when you reach a certain age. Maybe I'm just reaching it a little bit earlier. And then also life getting in the way. Life is always lifing, right? We often, especially when it comes to the new year, we want to wait till life settles down. We want to wait till this issue is over and done with. But then another issue comes into play, different circumstances come into play, stress comes into play. I often say to my clients, life is always lifing. How would you like strategies to work within when life is lifing, which I gave you some really practical ones for this workshop. Going back to old patterns of behavior, right? As soon as you get off a program, as soon as you get off a diet, you're going back to those old patterns of behavior, whether it's not working out. I see this often with women who do like a sugar-free workshop. That I don't do a sugar-free workshop, but they get it from someone else. And then a day after the workshop ends, they're back to eating all that sugar. And they're like, oh, I feel so much better. I've released a pound or two, and they're doing well. And they go back to their old patterns of behavior. Like, yeah, I did that sugar-free workshop. And as we're, the first initial conversation we have, they went back to old patterns of behavior. Stress about cheating or not being perfect. If you're a type A high performer, sometimes we don't want to start anything because we don't feel like we can be perfect in it, or being perfect in it is just too much energy right now. Like meal planning. Back in the day, I thought I had to meal plan, and meal planning meant every Sunday cooking my meals and throwing them in the freezer. I'm like, girl, I do not have the energy, nor do I want to do that. That doesn't sound like fun to me. So I would never start anything that would have to do with meal planning. I'm like, no, tell me about that. Because I thought I had to be perfect, and I wasn't going to be perfect, and I wasn't going to do it. Your self-limiting beliefs, which we had already mentioned. Your self-doubt. Maybe this won't work for me. My last program that I did that was very functional mindset, very functional in a program, I was like, well, maybe I'm the one person this doesn't work for. I didn't tell anyone that I did the program. I didn't tell anyone. You'll do it when life settles down. I already mentioned that. You believe you can't do it. What if it doesn't work for me? That was me. What if I'm the only one it doesn't work for? Right? So all of this is all what? It's all mind components. It's all mind component. Wanting a faster fix is also a mind component. We live in a microwavable age, meaning we want fast results, but I often say quick fixes do not stick. Quick fixes do not stick. Think about the last quick fix you did. Did it stick? So that's why I developed, from all of my years of being in this industry, 20 plus years, of my own experimenting with my own life and my body, what works, what doesn't work, and all the research that I've done, that I've created the 4-pillar personalized weight release system, which I call the whole woman weight release framework. What do we need to do? So number 1 pillar is empowered eating. We talked about how to eat during the workshop, but yes, we do need to address what we are eating. Are we eating food that is food? Is it nourishing? And does it give and or sustain life? Potentially you're eating a lot of food that's not food. So, and you also need a customized eating plan specifically for your body so that you can nourish your body, which is not the same as everyone else. It might look similar, but the nitty-gritty is not the same. So your personalized eating plan, you eat foods for your unique body. And when you eat foods that are designed and that work for your unique body, you easily release weight. You lower your toxic burden, and you easily release weight. You cleanse the body. You're balancing blood sugar. You're lowering your inflammatory load, and you feel so much better in your body. You've got your energy back. You've got clearer thinking, no more brain fog, and your performance at work improves. My client Dawn, her golf game improved. She was an avid golfer. Her golf game improved. We had a good chuckle about that in session. You naturally offload toxins. You balance your blood sugar. You lower your inflammation, as I've already said. You stop dieting and stop being frustrated over trying to discover what to eat. I mean, if you go on the Googles, there's pages and pages and pages and pages of what to eat to lose weight, right? Eat this, not that. And then 2 weeks later, it's different. It's eat this, not that. And then 2 weeks, it's different, right? It's eat this and not that. Been there, done that. But you got to know what to eat for your body. So you can stop dieting, stop being frustrated, and not knowing what to eat. And when you know what to eat for your body, it's like a no-brainer because you feel the best in your body. and you choose to eat those foods versus these foods over here, and then you're the CEO of your health and your body, so you get to decide whether you're going to eat food that your body doesn't thrive on. You easily release fat and weight. I had one of my clients, Gina, which I'd mentioned previously. When she came to me, she was really looking for energy. But when we discovered her personalized eating plan, she goes, "Oh yeah, I lost 5 pounds." Like for her, it was secondary. For her, it was like, "I got so much energy." She's like, "Oh yeah, I released 5 pounds and I stopped binge eating." I'm like, "That's fabulous." So you can have energy. Gina's energy went through the roof, and she was in tears when that happened for her. So you can increase your lean muscle mass. You do not need to be bulky, but muscle is king when it comes to overall health and wellness and releasing weight. And then you're burning fat more efficiently. You're releasing the unhealthy fat more efficiently from your body. Your clothes are fitting better on your body. You might need to get a lower size clothing. Fat is fluffy. 5 pounds of fat looks differently than 5 pounds of lean muscle because fat is fluffy. So your clothes are fitting looser, but the scale might not be moving so much. My clients do not do the scale. They do something else, because that number tells me nothing. It doesn't tell me if you are increasing your muscle mass and you're releasing the unhealthy fat. It just tells me a number. It doesn't tell me if you're retaining water. It just tells me a number. So when you start to see your clothes getting looser and things, your shape is differently, your proportions are different now, that lets you know you're releasing the fluffy fat. And then you have so much more freedom because you know exactly what to eat for your body. You're no longer eating the foods that cause blood sugar instability and inflammation. And you feel so much better. So this is Nancy. She's one of my clients. She released 15 pounds. When she came to me, she honestly was like, "I eat very clean. I eat very clean." I said, "Okay, so let's look at what you're eating." And I'm like, "We did the are you eating food that is food?" And she was eating some box foods, things like that. And I'm like, "Well, let's look at what you're eating sugar wise." Because when she came to me, she was also having pain. So that lets me know her body had inflammatory overload. Her inflammatory load was higher with the pain. So, and it wasn't an injury. It was just her joints, right? She's thinking arthritis, but I'm more thinking, okay, potentially you got some inflammation. Where is that coming in from? And see, she loves to go biking on the trails with her husband. They do that every weekend. She's probably out right now biking. And they would do like 20, 25 miles. Take a whole day to do this. And that was her together time. But she's like, I could barely do 5 miles now. Barely do 5 miles. And I'm really losing that time with my husband because I have to turn around because my knees just hurt so much. When we worked together looking how much sugar she was eating, she goes, "OMG, I'm eating way too much sugar in the foods that she was choosing to buy at the grocery store." She spent 2 hours in that session just reading the labels and then knowing what alternatives were available for her so that she can lower the amount of sugar she was eating. We also found that she did have some food intolerances, which was making her blood sugar become imbalanced and also contributing to the inflammation as well. So once we discovered her personalized eating plan together and lowered her intake of sugar, she easily released 15 pounds and she's back out biking with her husband as well. So that's empowered. You need to have empowered eating, know exactly what to eat for your body. Are you eating any food intolerances? Which the women, I've not seen anyone have at least 1 or 2 food intolerances. And that will definitely prevent you from being successful in releasing weight. Then we got to look at your environment. What's going on in your environment? Are you moving your body consistently? You got to address your life circumstances so you can more easily release weight. So your stress, are you properly managing your stress? Because stress will definitely prevent you from uptaking the appropriate nutrients in your body. You lose muscle mass when you're under stress. Your body cannot properly digest your food. We went into stress a little bit more on day 3 of the workshop where I told you what actually happens to your body when you're in a state of stress response, why you're not uptaking your nutrients, why you're gaining fat, and why you're potentially losing muscle as well. Are you properly managing your stress? Are you sleeping? Are you getting into deep sleep? 2 hours is max. 1.5, you're doing pretty good. You're doing well. We're talking about deep sleep, not REM. Deep sleep is where you really rejuvenate and you do cellular repair, and is where 75% of human growth hormone is released. That's one hormone that really impacts weight and health. Cortisol being the other one from stress. Did you know that human growth hormone is inversely proportional to cortisol? Meaning if cortisol is high, your human growth hormone is going to be low. If human growth hormone is low, then cortisol is going to be high, then cortisol is going to be low. Human growth hormone helps your body to burn fat more efficiently, and it helps you to build more muscle mass, and it's very anti-aging. There's huge benefits to human growth hormone, but 75% is released in deep sleep. So if you're not getting into deep sleep, which stress can cause you to do that, what you eat your last meal can cause you to not get into deep sleep. Alcohol, caffeine can come into play and prevent you from getting into deep sleep. Then you're not going to reap the benefits. How is your energy? How is your energy impacted by your environment? Do you work in a very stressful job? Are you around computers a lot? Let's talk about EMFs. So EMFs are from your Wi-Fi, from your computer. I worked in healthcare and I noticed a big difference in my body when I worked at the surgery center, surrounded by all that equipment, and then when I came home. Huge difference. I felt heavy with that. EMFs can come into play and definitely impact your energy as well. And when when you're low on energy, do you really want to take consistent action in health and wellness? It's hard. Then it's about your time too. Sometimes you feel like you don't have the time to properly manage your stress. You don't have time to really get a good night's sleep. You maybe have 5 hours or less to sleep. Or maybe you feel like, looking at your environment, we're talking about your toxic load too. Your environment is everything that impacts you, your relationships, your toxic burden, the air that you breathe outside. Are you around smokers? Do you smoke yourself? Are you moving your body? And if so, are you doing movement that's right for your body? Not every workout is right for every person due to health issues, low thyroid, Hashimoto's, autoimmune. So it's not only are you moving your body, but are you doing movement that's right for your body as well? And how are your relationships? Is it causing stress with your relationships? Does there need to be some letting go? Or a lot of times what I find for my clients, it's all about communication. So I do a lot of life coaching as well. It's all about communication, especially when it comes to holiday time as well. It's like, what are you anticipating with that? Moving your body, which I had already mentioned, moving for your body. And I don't like to call it working out because we just need to move our body. So it's everything in your environment that impacts your weight and your health and your consistency too. And it can sound like a whole bunch. It can sound really daunting when you're like, it's everything in my environment. But when you take it one step at a time, one focus at a time, it makes a huge difference, which is why I keep saying 1% improvement every day. Excuse me. So it's the toxins, chemicals from your food, the water, the makeup, the hair products, the lotions, the cleaning products, the air quality, self-sabotage, not moving your body or doing the wrong movement. It all comes into play with the empowered environment. So you need tools to lose and maintain your optimal healthy weight. You need tools to deal with your stress, to deal with your sleep. Life never stops. There's always going to be stressors around. I mean, you saw me with my cat, right? In and out, in and out. Okay, he's finally sleeping in the window now, but life never stops. You think you got one area worked out and then here comes something else to interfere with it, so to speak. So how would you like to navigate all of this when busy everyday life, when life never stops lifing on you? So here's one of my clients, Brandy. She was one that she's like, life never stops lifing on me. She was very stressed. When I asked her stress level out of 10, 10 being very, very stressed, she goes, can I tell you 12? Because I'm really stressed. And it was interfering with her sleep and it was causing her to emotionally stress eat with lots of sugar. Now, when she came to work with me, she had done a very popular weight release program diet that you will see infomercials on around the end of December because of the whole new year. And she really didn't have a whole lot of success with it. And it was one of those programs where I said, eat this, not that. And she's like, look, don't tell me what to eat. Don't tell me what not to eat. I'm like, totally cool. We'll get there. So we actually work with her on managing her environment. How's her relationship? It's in the home because that was really impacting her stress level. She's a licensed clinical social worker. She didn't want to quit her job, which was very stressful because she loved it. She loved to serve the people that she worked with. And so we gave her proper stress management techniques, which allowed her to get her body out of a state of stress so that she can properly digest her food and uptake the protein and the healthy fat and the nutrients. She was able to sleep better and get into deep sleep. And she easily released 7 pounds in 6 weeks. Now you might look at that going 7 pounds in 6 weeks, right? Because some diets are like, you lose 15 pounds in this amount of time. They lose a significant amount of weight in like 30 days. So 6 pounds in 6 weeks, why? It's because once again, my clients don't do the scale, just all end all be all. She actually exchanged fluffy fat for lean muscle. Fluffy fat for lean muscle. And she had better mental clarity, and she stopped eating so much sugar as well. You're gonna hear more about Brandy in a second. Then we gotta talk about hormones. Women, it's not just the hormones, the estrogen, progesterone, testosterone that become out of balance during perimenopause, menopausal time. It is a whole lot more. I already mentioned cortisol and human growth hormone and thyroid, and those impact you way before. You have to look at your whole life recipe, which includes your hormones. So leptin is the appetite suppressant hormone. Can become out of balance. You might not know when you're comfortably full. Ghrelin is the appetite hormone. Think growl for hunger. You might not know when you're hungry, or you might be hungry all the time and might be out of balance. And so you're overeating, you're eating to excess because leptin and ghrelin is completely out of control, completely imbalanced. Then your cortisol, how stressed are you? Are you eating food that is a food intolerance? That'll cause stress in your body, which will also impact your cortisol level. Cortisol is good in the immediate, which I described on day 3 of the workshop, but it's that chronic state of cortisol, which now you've got blood sugar instability issues, which drive inflammation, which drive weight gain and make it difficult to release weight. Human growth hormone, we want to release human growth hormone. We want to capitalize on the human growth hormone. It helps you to burn fats and helps you to uptake lean muscle mass. Then we got to talk about blood sugar regulation. What is your insulin? How's your insulin for you? Are you in insulin resistance? And by the way, that will help you to decrease your inflammation. Did you know that once you have your own personalized eating plan, and when you work on those things in your environments and get them properly managed within busy everyday life, that leptin and ghrelin start to become balanced? Your cortisol and your insulin start to become more balanced, and you're releasing more human growth hormone. Sometimes you think of hormones that you got to work on that hormone, just that hormone. You don't need to work. For some things you do, but if we can manage pillar 1 and pillar 2, you are so much more ahead of the ball game when it comes to balancing those hormones. And if you are in perimenopause and menopause, your symptoms like your night sweats, your hot flashes, your moodiness can definitely decrease, because you're really fueling your body properly. You're helping to sleep better. Like, all this comes into play. Definitely. So when we get your hormones properly balanced, you're burning more fat, you have more freedom, your energy is through the roof, you are sleeping so much better. You're able to play as well. Play with your kids, play with your grandkids, play with your significant other. And you actually get some time back because you have the bandwidth to get more things done in a shorter amount of time, because now we've decreased the brain fog as well. And you've balanced your blood sugar. Part of the brain fog you might be experiencing is because potentially of blood sugar instability, but yet you're not pre-diabetic or diabetic, but you got some blood sugar instability going on because of food intolerances. You're not sleeping well. You're not managing your stress. Can you see how it all comes into play? So if you follow a traditional dieting, which simply looks at what you eat and how you move, but you don't look at other areas in your life, you're going to have little to no success. You're going to feel frustrated and all alone in your journey, and you're going to want to give up, and you're going to be like me, overweight, in poor health, just struggling to get through the day. It's not fun. So let's go back to this iceberg, right? What you eat, how you move, that's just foundational. That's just the beginning. We got to look at your hormones. Are you managing your stress? Are you sleeping well? Your unconscious and your subconscious mind. Why are you regaining the weight? What is your body legacy? Is your body in protector mode? Are you self-sabotaging? What are your beliefs about yourself? Have you essentially believe in lies others have told you? Or you believe in lies you're telling yourself? Is it really true? Maybe you feel like you can't do it, you're unworthy, you're not worth it. That was me back in the day. You're a toxic burden. This is huge among women. when it comes to inflammation and blood sugar instability. Your identity, who do you see that you are when it comes to your health and your wellness journey? Like Gina saw herself as her autoimmune. She saw herself as poor health. She didn't see, and because of that identity, it was very difficult for her to maintain consistency as well. It really does impact. Now, the last pillar, because I have 4, is the empowered mind. This is why as high as 95 to 98% of women who release weight end up gaining it back. Because you do need to address your beliefs about yourself, your identity, your programming, and your unconscious or subconscious mind. You can definitely have an empowered mind. We can change your body legacy, definitely for the better. We can change that. We can change what you saw before the age of 7 when it came to weight, when it came to health, when it came to food, when it came to dieting, when it came to scales. You can definitely overcome self-limiting beliefs and have new, better beliefs about yourself. Absolutely. But you can change your identity from a woman who is not healthy, from a woman who is broken, from a woman who needs to be fixed, from a woman who is unworthy, to a woman who has self-worth, who is worthy, who is loved, who has value, who is a woman of health, who is a woman who takes action and impacts others. What are your thoughts about yourself? What are your feelings about yourself and about life in general? They all impact your actions. Absolutely. And I have a little bit of a diagram here. So body protector mode, for me, it was a physical barrier. I had past trauma. I was molested at the age of 3. And so my body was in protector mode because I didn't want to be hurt like I was back then. And I had some betrayal in my past life, some other hits in life. So my body was retaining on to the weight for various different physical reasons, but the main emotional one, when I kept regaining the weight, when I got the physical, knew what to eat for my body, manage my stress, sleeping better, it was the emotional unconscious mind. My body was in protector mode, didn't want me to be hurt. The mind goes out of whack, so to speak. It starts to freak out. Sorry, I've got a dog bark in the background if you hear that. Little Yorkie. So what the mind always wants to be staying with the status quo, staying in the present, even if the status quo, the present body and mind is not healthy. My body was in poor health. The binge eating led to poor health. So when I was taking action to get onto the other side of things, to release weight, to be a woman of health, my body and my identity were pulling me back. I still had the identity of a binge eater. My body was still in protector mode. They were the driving force in my life. So if you've ever felt like you keep taking action, but like a rubber band, you're being pulled back, it's because of this right here, your unconscious mind. So maybe potentially you know what to do, but you're just not doing it. Maybe you keep plateauing at the same weight and you cannot bust through a certain weight. Usually that's some indication of a past trauma issue. Your body's just holding on because it's perceiving if you bust through that plateau, you could potentially be harmed, and your body's just trying to protect you. The weight regain, so we can end all of that. And usually the focus is on the actions once again, right? Yes, we do need to deal with the actions. Are you taking action? But emotions always precede an action. Emotions always precede an action. You might know already you're a stress eater, you're an emotional eater. Maybe you want to phase out, you want to numb out with food because you don't want to feel pain. But there's always a thought before an emotion. But we think so many given thoughts at any given time, most of them negative, by the way, and not true, that it's hard to catch them. But we can catch the emotion. But there's always a thought that precedes the emotion that precedes the action. Then there is our identity. What sub-identity is driving those thoughts, that's driving those emotions, that's driving the action, right? So it kind of looks like this. It all comes from the unconscious, subconscious mind and our identity. That leads to our thoughts about ourselves, about our weight loss journey, about us getting healthy and maintaining that health. Thoughts drive our emotions. and our emotions drive our actions. And diets and most weight loss programs usually focus only on your action. Eat this way, not that way. Move your body. They might deal a little bit of stress. If you're in a functional program, they might deal with hormones. But out of all, I've been in this for over 20 years. Out of all the programs that I've been in, that I've seen, that my clients have been in, previous programs, they might have one facet of it or the other facet, but most of them don't have the whole pillars that are involved when it comes to releasing weight and keeping it off. You know, Angelina, that is what I myself felt as well. That is what I felt like. I can so resonate with you saying you feel like your body has betrayed you the last couple of years, because I felt like my body was the enemy. And when I kept regaining the weight back, I was like, what is going on? Why are you not helping me right now in this moment? And it was like and my body was giving me the signals that I was trying to protect me, but I wasn't aware of it, because you don't know what you don't know. Because I didn't know about the whole unconscious, subconscious mind driving my thoughts, oh, my identity, by the way, and my emotions on my actions. I was just focused on my actions. But you can definitely unlearn that and relearn better thoughts, better beliefs, and have a better and healthier identity as well. It is so, so possible. So that you can stop the self-sabotage. You can create a positive body legacy and image, get your confidence back. But if you have daughters, like, you can be that positive role model for them. Let's create a healthier body image and body legacy. See, part of my story was when I worked in the ER, granted, I was in poor health and I was overweight myself. And I saw the little ones coming in, and I saw mom, primary caregiver, whether it be, they had custody or whatnot, they're in poor health and overweight. And I'm like, we need to create better, healthier body legacies for our children. Did you know that the children of today, life expectancy is less than their parents? It is, because we are on a verge, we're already in a health crisis. If things do not change, crap's gonna hit the fan. That's all I'm gonna say. So you can stop regaining the weight, so you can master new, healthier way of coping. When life's on you, you have a new normal, you have a better identity, sub-identity. Your unconscious mind is on par with you making consistent actions, so you can end the emotions that are driving those poor actions, the actions of unhealth. So this is one of my former clients, Brandy. She came to me, it was literally the February before the March shutdown. And we know how stressful that was back in 2020, right? So she was high stress, she was smoking, she was newly divorced, single mom, and so she moved in with her parents so her parents could help with her two young kids. So she started with me in February. We got her personalized eating plan. We gave her strategies to lower her stress, and then boom, the shutdown came into play. And she was an essential worker, so much so she actually ended up working overtime. So when she came home from working overtime, now she has to keep her kids on track to, let's finish your homework. What do you need to get done? Because her parents would help during the actual school time. And she said, I'm so glad I started working with you when I did, because she revealed to me, I don't think I would have been able to get out of bed. Because part of that, her story was she didn't think she could do it. She felt like a failure because she's recently divorced, raising her two young kids. She felt like she couldn't do it. And now she's moving back home with her parents. So she felt like, okay, now I'm not adult enough to navigate this on my own. I'm moving in with my parents. So her self-esteem and how she viewed herself and her identity was low. So we worked on her, helping her to see herself in a different way, helping her to have belief about herself, changing her identity, working on her unconscious mind as well. And she released 25 pounds when many were gaining weight. And she said, I have a new attitude of I can do it now, that I can do it. So where are you now? Where are you now? Potentially you've seen the 4 pillars, like, holy shit, I've got a lot to work on. And you're in freak out mode. And your body's automatically going, I don't want to do that. We're freaking out. Let's stay with the status quo, and let's not make changes now. Let's wait till after the new year, because right now it's too stressful. Your unconscious mind is telling you right now not to proceed, not to take action now, potentially, because you're seeing everything potentially that might need to be done. So where are you now? Are you in freak out mode? But I'm here to tell you, having freedom is so possible for you. It is completely possible for you. Completely possible for you. So envision your life 6 months from now, right? We're in November. Where would you like it to be in June? Where would you like it to be in June? I see what you're saying, Angelina, and yeah, it's because your body is going, we want to stay in the comfortable. It starts to freak out when we kind of think about going over to the other side. So it's like we got to reprogram and let the body know it's okay on the other side. Because the unknown, it doesn't like the unknown. Brain does not, and the body does not like the unknown. It only wants to stay in the known because we know how to act, we know how to respond, we know who we are, even if that identity of who we are is not the healthiest. So what is it that you want? You're on this workshop, you're on this class for a reason, right? Something resonate with you, whether it be the workshop that drove you to come on today on a Saturday. High five, by the way, for being on here on a Saturday. How long have you been trying to get what you want? And when I talk to women, they're like, well, I want to release this weight and I want to get healthy. I want to feel better. Feel better how? How do you want to feel? Well, I just want to feel better. Okay, what would that look like for you? And let's be honest, if it really was just about feeling better, you would be taking action. But it's what is feeling better going to get for you? What is releasing the weight going to get for you? For Gina, it was having fun with her grandkids, being the fun grandma. For Dawn, it was, no longer having an unhealthy body, being a better performer at work. So what is that going to, and how long have you been trying to get there? So there's two ways to move forward with anything in life. You can definitely do it by yourself. I gave you some really great tips, practical strategies during the 3 days of the workshop. I kind of outlined what needs to be addressed as well. So you can definitely do it by yourself, but research shows that doing it by yourself, you will go back to your old patterns of behavior. Which is why when it comes to New Year's resolutions, usually by February 1st, majority of those who made a New Year's resolution toward health and wellness have stopped working on that. Because it can be overwhelming. If you go on Google and you search for how to release weight in a healthy way, you get pages upon pages upon pages. And what they're telling you is not necessarily going to work for your unique body. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing what you want, Angelina. Thank you so much for sharing. You got to nail down what is it that you want and how do you want to get it. You can do it on your own, definitely doable, or you can lock arms with someone who's already proven to make it work in busy everyday life. You will always default to your past patterns of behavior. We are human. You might have every intention to, yes, I'm going to put these strategies in place. Yes, I'm going to work on my stress. Yes, I'm going to let me research on how to sleep better. Let me research on how to navigate more hormones. Let me research on this. But then you get pages upon pages upon pages of information. It's like, what's going to work for you and your unique body? And we will always default to our past patterns of behavior. So if you have a pattern of inconsistency, you're going to be inconsistent, even though you might be motivated at this point in time. Been there, done that. Same thing with all of my clients as well. So remember Brandy? Brandy got her vision for her life because her vision for her life, she said, I literally want to be the hands and feet of Jesus. I said, tell me more about that, Brandy. You see, she works with the homeless population in town, and there's a part of town, is it bigger town, where there's a forest, and it's a huge forest. She goes, the homeless population, a lot of them will live in tents out in the forest. And she goes, because they're kind of hiding, you can't just drive all the way there. She said, at some point you have to get out of your car and you're literally stepping over the big logs, stepping over the trees that have fallen down from the storms, going through the branches. And she said, I can only make it halfway there before I literally have to stop because I'm so out of breath. And she said, by the time I get rested and I make the rest of the journey into the interior of the forest where they are, she said, my coworker has pretty much finished everything. She's given them food, she's given them water, she's signed them up for services that they want to sign up for. She said, you know what? I want to be there. I want to do that. I don't want to have my coworker being the one to do everything. And so, even though she lost, what, 7 pounds in 6 weeks, and for some people might see, oh, that's not a whole lot, but she was exchanging fluffy fat for muscle. She was getting her stamina. She was able to be the literal hands and feet of Jesus. She carried the water. She walked over those logs. She hopped over those logs. She went through the dense forest, and she was there with her coworker. She didn't have to stop mid journey. She didn't have to catch her breath. And she's like, I handed out water and I handed out food and I signed them up for services. And she goes, I was able to spend more time with them and talk to them and meet them where they're at. Was such a huge vision for her. She was in tears that first time she was able to do that one session. So I'm curious, what is your vision for your life? When I tell you it's not necessarily about the weight and the health, it's what is it that the poor weight, the increased weight, and the poor health is impacting you, not getting your own you go girl moment. What is it preventing you from getting? What is the vision you have for your life that potentially you put on the back burner of life because you didn't feel like it was attainable, because you're exhausted, you're overwhelmed, you've gained weight, you don't feel like you deserve it, you don't feel like you're worthy, you have an identity of a woman who doesn't get what she wants out of life because you're believing lies that someone told you, potentially lies that you're telling yourself. You can definitely have the vision for your life, and you so deserve to have that. You are worth it. You are so worth it. So what's the cost of inaction? For me, it was more poor health. It was spending more money on over the counter things. So when I had my come to Jesus moment, it was like the straw that breaks the camel's back. I was done. I wanted to find what was going to work for me and my body. And when I found what worked for me and my body, it works for women on a whole, because even though we're addressing the pillars, because we got to address all 4 pillars, specifically the mind component, but within each pillar, there are nuances. There's individuation, which is why diets don't work, because they see you as simply the next cookie in the cookie cutter realm of dieting. What is your vision for you and your life that you want? What is the price you've been paying? And by the way, people who have a coach are 90% more successful than those who don't, which is why even Oprah has a coach herself. Yes. So you might remember I'd mentioned Gina previously. When she came to me, her energy was in the toilet. She wanted to release a little bit of weight, but for her, it was her autoimmune issues and her energy. She said, I can't play with my young grandkids, and I really want to play soccer with them because I like to play soccer, and I always have to sit down and watch them play. And she had a young 2-year-old grandson too. And so she's like, I want to navigate that. I want to be the fun grandma. I don't want to have to call up my daughter or friends or other family to say, you know what, I can't go out with you today because I just don't have the energy or the bandwidth. She didn't want to have to deal with the exacerbation of her autoimmune symptoms, the cold sores, the rashes, things like that. So when she worked with me, we found her customized eating plan. We found she did have some food intolerances. She focused on the foods her body thrives on. We helped her to manage her stress because she worked in a very stressful job. We helped her to change the beliefs and her thoughts about herself and her identity. And she became more consistent in taking action. And when she did, she's like, OMG, what energy I have right now. See, she no longer has to choose which activities to do. She no longer feels stuck at home or stuck in her body, in a body that she felt like at the time was battling her. She was able to work in hand with her body and understand that her body is actually giving her feedback. Her body's telling her things. She was too toxic in her body to hear those subtle signals her body was giving her. So now she knows to listen. She knows how to listen. She knows what foods are best for her body. She manages her stress. She sleeps so much better. And she has an identity of a woman of health. So, and when we got on session, she goes, oh yeah, by the way, I released 5 pounds. I no longer binge eat. But for her, it was the energy component that was so valuable for her. Why? Because yes, it was the energy, but what did that energy give her? It gave her time with her family and with her friends that was being taken away from because she didn't have the energy or the bandwidth. Kids are only young for so long, right? Time goes like that. We're in November already. It's going to be January pretty soon. I'm still wondering where October went, right? So how do we navigate all this within a busy frame of time? By the way, anyone I share stories with, I do abide by HIPAA. I have their express permission to do so as well. So visualize how it would feel to have that freedom. How would it feel to have that freedom? You see, when women such as Gina, Brandy, Danielle, Nancy take steps to learn what's going to work for their body and pair up with someone that helps them to navigate that along the way, they find what to eat for their body. They're no longer eating tons of sugar. They're no longer self-soothing and medicating with food. They're sleeping better. Their nervous system's more calmer. They have an empowered mind and empowerment that they haven't had either in quite some time or for the first time ever. They feel like they are worth it and that they are worthy. And guess what? It impacts not only them, but everyone around them. Brandy was able to serve the homeless population so much better. Gina was able to play with her grandkids and go out with her kids and have more quality time with them. Dawn's golf game improved and she had a great on time with her kids and her coworkers, with her friends and her coworkers, and her job performance improved. You see, but when women come to me, they often say, you know, I really don't have the time. I really work a busy job. I'm taking care of not only my kids, but my grandkids. We see a lot of that. And, you know, I have a busy job. By the time I get home, I just want to go to bed. I'm crashing. I really don't have the time to work on myself, to navigate all this, or even the bandwidth to even think about it. But here's what happens with women like Gina and Brandy and Nancy carved out the time, is that they got a whole lot of time back. Time from not getting the illnesses and the sickness that we tend to see in December and January. Worked in the ER. December, January, boom, everyone's getting sick with the flu and the colds and the bronchitis, right? They're no longer having to deal with that, so they're getting their time back. I used to get sick every January. I got my time back from my migraines and my headaches. And when women come to me, they often say, you know what, I get it. I really do see that I need some assistance with this. I need to, you know, deal with my unconscious mind, my beliefs. I need to take consistent action, but I really don't have the investment. I really don't. And I get it. The economy right now, it's not good. I get it. Maybe you're working two jobs. Maybe you're barely getting by. Maybe you're like me where I had to use my income tax refund. I get it. But here's what I like to offer to you and open to you is that when you do invest, you save a whole heck of a lot of money on the back end. I no longer have to buy the prescription medications. I no longer have to buy the over-the-counter medications that I was on. I no longer have to buy the supplements that I thought I needed because I no longer need them. And so here's what I've done, because you are go-getters. You're here today on a Saturday. You are a go-getter. So what I've done is I've created something very special for women like you who are go-getters, who really love their life, but they're really just struggling to figure out how to navigate job, family, friends, kids, grandkids, pets. You just saw me with my cat earlier, in and out, in and out. And you really want to take steps and you really want to do this, but potentially you're freaking out a bit because you're like, holy crap, what's on the other side of this? And your brain is in a little bit of a freak out mode. And I get it. So I have a smaller course program, which I call the Ultimate Beyond the Fork Blueprint. This is all about helping you to know what to eat for your body. Because I've been in this work for years, and when we can at least establish that one pillar, eating for your body, making sure you're eating food that is food, that you're getting the proper nutrition, that you're no longer eating the food that your body's intolerant to, you can definitely offload, cleanse the body, release the excess weight. You're balancing blood sugar. And although I'm not a doctor, I help you to have the conversation with your doctor of like, let's talk about potentially lowering your dose of medication because your numbers are pretty good right now. Just have that conversation with your doctor with that. We have had some clients who've had their conversations where they're able to decrease the dosage, and some were able to get off some of their medications. Why? It's because when you eat for your body, you know exactly what to eat. You're no longer having cortisol imbalances, which cause blood sugar to be imbalanced. You're no longer inflamed in your body, which is the number one driver of dis-ease in the body. And by the way, blood sugar instability is a main driver for heart disease, for heart cardiovascular issues among women, among everyone, but women are more susceptible to that. So I developed this for women who are go-getters, who are struggling to navigate, and who really want to know exactly what they need to eat for their body. And their time is limited. I get it. So I designed this to be a self-paced program so that you can do it at your own pace on your own time. You can fit it within the time that you have. Fit it into your life. You don't have to fit your life into it. Been on programs like that. They're not fun. And it's very sustainable lifestyle changes. It is not quick fixes. So within the blueprint, there are 5 comprehensive modules. There's videos. I call it curated information. So by the way, I just posted a link in the chat for y'all. It's curated information. Let's get out of the information overload. There's the Metabolism Jumpstart Guide, where you're going to actually offload toxins and chemicals. We mentioned about the environmental components, right? The environments. What toxins and chemicals are you exposed to? It comes from our food as well. But when we also eat clean and eat for your body, you're able to easily offload. Your body no longer has to hold on to the fat because it doesn't need it to protect you. Part of body being protector mode is because of the toxic burden that you are undergoing currently. I have bonuses. There's additional resources and guides. I have a blood sugar balance guide. I have how to eat out at restaurants guide. I have a how to eat clean guide. I even have some recipes in there. I help you to navigate the nuances of what's going on, and you do get access to a supportive community. And if you feel like you need additional support on how to navigate everything, there's discounted coaching calls, which are optional as well. So why? Here's what you get. You get your vision success framework. What is the vision you want for your life? If you are not clear on this, you're going to get vague results. You're going to have vague, consistent action. You need to get very clear on what your vision is. Brandy, she told me right away, this is the vision I have for my life. Gina, she told me right away, I want to be the fun grandma, and I want to be able to have time with my family and friends. That was the vision she had for her life. You get crystal clear on that, and guess what? They got it. We also have the bioenergy feedback system. How do you start listening to your body? What feedback is your body given to you so that you can navigate this food versus that food? I'm not going to give you a plan. We're going to discover what that is together. In fact, Gina was like, tell me what to eat. I'm like, no, we're going to discover that together. And she goes, OMG, the way you do it is so different from other programs I've been on. And she said it's the most successful plan that she's ever been on because she knows right away what to eat for her body. She listens to her body signals. Now, let's speak about the body signal method. We dive deeper into this. We go down to the nutrition. What signals is your body telling you that potentially you need more nutrients in your body? What vitamins you potentially need for your body? Then I call it the dietary intelligence blueprint, and we also have the precision nutrient blueprint. And one of them is the metabolism jumpstart, where we're actually cleaning the body, and that is a precision nutrition blueprint. Get down and dirty, even to the type of protein that your body thrives on and that your body wants. We do go over your macronutrients. How much protein should you be eating? Carbohydrates, fats, sugar. And we help you to scale down with small incremental improvements. That's why it's curated information. And you do get a bonus, which is a Sweet Relief Cut the Sugar workshop. I don't advocate a sugar-free lifestyle because our brain needs sugar to function, by the way. Nor do I advocate a no-carb lifestyle. Your body needs vegetables and a little bit of fruit to function as well, because you get your nutrients from your vegetables and your fruits. So the Sweet Relief Cut the Sugar workshop, how to make very practical. If you like the workshop, the Diet List Holiday Brew Plant, you're going to love the Sweet Relief Cut the Sugar workshop. It's all that very practical tips and tricks for you to use. So with this on demand, you have flexibility, do it at your own pace and your own time. You get everything that is, by the way, this is actually part of my longer Academy 6-month program, but the Academy includes coaching calls. This is actually right out of my Academy. And because you are go-getters, and on here I got something very special for you. You do get to connect with like-minded women in the community. I have a way for you to do that. So here's what happens. There is a special holiday price of $347. If you click the page, you go to the page, it tells you everything. Wait a second, that might be the checkout page. I'll get you the page. The checkout page, you get to determine if you want to do monthly payments instead of a one payment offer. Once you pay, the page will take you directly to you get immediate access to everything. You get immediate access to everything, and then I will contact you about getting your bonuses, which is your fast path to health and weight loss call. You can schedule that at any time until the end of January. Maybe you're not ready to get started right away. Maybe you are. Everyone comes to this differently. No shame or blame on where you feel like you can start and when to start. So if you feel like I'm not going to start till after January, then you can have that call after January. It's a one-on-one call with me. It would potentially the two other people it's an enrollment call, it's an onboarding call to help you navigate potentially what module to start on for you. Maybe I have you start on the metabolism jumpstart based on what you're telling me, the feedback you're telling me. Maybe I have you start on another area of the program. So you get that for free. And I also am going to grant you 3 months into the Dietless Dieting Sisterhood. This is a way to immediately contact me via an app on your phone. You can direct message me. I guarantee to get back to you within 24 hours, Monday through Thursday. It is not anyone else from my team. It is directly to me as well. So you get 3 months free of that, and that releases content every month that you're in there. And if you choose to stay in there, there's a nominal monthly fee for that one. But I'm going to grant you 3 months free from the get-go and give you your fast path to health and weight release call to set yourself up for success in this special offer here. So if you're a go-getter, if you're ready, like Nancy, Danielle, Gina, and Julie, this is their feedback about this portion of the program. They're all graduates of my academy. You know, Nancy, we discovered she's eating way too much sugar. We got her own personalized eating plan. Danielle, it really helped her with her energy and navigating, do I eat this or do I eat that? Gina, I told you her story from the get-go. She's a fun grandma now. She plays soccer with her own grandkids. And then Julie, she's very busy. She works in healthcare, and she did it a lot on her own. And so she found that the videos and the action plans really made it easy to implement what she learned. And part of what I do in the program, even on the on-demand, is that knowledge is great, but it's implemented knowledge that's really going to get you that success. And once you know what to eat for your body, it doesn't matter how long the program is, how short it is. My goal is not to be your coach for your lifetime. My goal is to give you very practical tools, strategies, and techniques so that once the program ends, you know exactly what to eat for your body. You know your hunger and fullness cues. You know how to listen to your body, what that feedback your body is giving you is, so that you can navigate holidays, so you can navigate celebrations, so you can navigate the rest of the year and not just a certain time. I set you up for success. Now, some women do get the discounted coaching calls because they want help with more of the mindset component, which a couple of you had mentioned. You get them at a discounted rate. I usually charge $297 a la carte, but when you enroll in this program, you get them at $97. And those are with my academy clients, so you get to reap the benefits of any content that I give them as well. So if you feel like you're too busy to commit to a program right now, I got you covered. Start at your own pace. It is a self-paced program designed to fit into your lifestyle. And maybe you worry about, well, if I purchase today and I really don't want to start until January, what if I forget about it? I got you covered because I'm going to remind you come January, hey, have you been in your program yet? Hey, now's a great time to start. And you can engage with the materials in whatever way it suits you. I've got lots of more resources that I offer you that are in the program as well. Will it really work for me? Use my proven success track. Every woman who goes through this and truly implements sees success. Energy, weight release, clothes fitting better when they take the action. So you get all the tools that I share with my academy clients. and you get access to discountable coaching calls as well. Now, with the Dietless community, you get direct access to me, and you do have the community of women as well. So you don't have to feel like you're all alone in your journey. You can directly access me. However, if you do the on-demand only and you have a question that I feel like you would benefit from a more longer in-depth coaching call, then I will recommend that. But if it's a quick question about content on your journey, I will get back to you within 24 hours as well. Because your success is our priority. My team, we really want to see you to be successful. You haven't seen my team because they've been behind the scenes and all of this, but we're committed to your journey and providing support for you every step along the way. By the way, if you invest in this and you opt to go into my academy, you have 12 months to do so. Whatever money you invested in this, I will count toward the full 6-month academy price as well. So here's what you get again. You get your 5 modules, and then you get the Cut the Sugar workshop. I usually charge $19.97 for this. But you also get the Fast Path to Health and Weight Release call. You get the Dietless Dieting Sisterhood membership for 3 months. Your only investment is $347. On the checkout page, you can determine if you want monthly payments or if you want to pay that monthly payments as well. If you want to start later, you can start later, but these are designed to be given to you in really quick, actionable steps as well. Does anyone have any questions about the ultimate Beyond the Fork blueprints? Anyone have any questions that I can answer for you? I think I gave you the wrong link. Let me give you the link to the actual sales page so you can see all the bells and whistles, so to speak, as well. Now, you might see I gear it specifically toward women, but I have had men do the on-demand, and they've been really successful as well. So here is the link to the actual page for you as well. Any questions? High five for being on and putting yourself higher in your list of priorities. You are so worth getting healthy, getting fit, and what that in turn will give to you as well. It's been my pleasure to support you these past 4 days on your journey as well. So the link to the actual page is on there now for all of you. Yeah, print it out to everyone. So if you click the link, it'll tell you all the bells and whistles that you get. This is strictly on-demand, self-paced program. You can definitely be very, very successful. Let's get you releasing the weights. Let's get you getting healthy. Let's get you seeing those results that you want to see as well. And part of that is I do offer a coaching package that will start with weekly calls in January that you can add on to that. I didn't mention on it here on the slides, but the total price, if you want the on-demand with the coaching, is $644. I usually charge $19.97, but because you're on this workshop and you're taking action and you've been here, I'm granting you the discounted price of $644. Call it a Black Friday sale, call it a workshop sale, totally up to you. Awesome. So it's been my pleasure supporting you. Hopefully I'll see you in the ultimate Beyond the Fork blueprints. You ladies have a great rest of the day. I don't see any questions in the chat. You take care. Have a great day, everyone.